Hey guys, Kenny here. I finally got around to seeing the romantic science fiction thriller, uh, The Adjustment Bureau. I finally saw it tonight. I really enjoyed this. It has to do with David, what's his name? David Ross, played by Matt Damon. He's this pretty arrogant, cocky new senator, and he meets up with this woman, Elise, and she's on uh, she's a ballet dancer, I believe, and she's supposed to become one of the most powerful in the world. And then David and Elise, once they meet up with each other, uh, they meet up with each other in the bathroom of this hotel in the men's room, and then they hit it off pretty well. Got a pretty interesting relationship going after just one meeting, and then they meet up again on this bus, but they were it were, I'm not gonna say what happens, but then there's these people that it's like they control the fates and the plans of everyone in the world. Well, they can't really do everyone on control everyone in the world, but uh, they try to keep David and Elise from being with each other because if they're together, that makes both of their plans, Elise and David's plans, they they don't work out at all. Like David is. Well, I'm not gonna say what happens to him. I don't want to give anything away if there's people who haven't seen this, and and then once the David once David gets it in his mind that he wants to keep being with Elise, that makes these people they wear these business hats, and they're the people that control people's plans and what's David wants to go and be with Elise. That makes these people who control his plan go after him to try and keep him away from her. That's basically what the whole plan is. And David love David loves her and Elise loves him, and they want to be together. Or David wants to be with her no matter what these uh, people, these men in the business hats say. And that's basically what the whole story is about. I really love this. This was. I know there are people who don't really like this. I don't want to name any people, but I've seen earlier reviews of this, video reviews, and there are people who think this sucks. But I really did enjoy this. It's definitely thought-provoking and makes you think of how to live your life in the right way or in a good way, like and really just makes you really think about your life, and at least it made me think about that. And it's also a very interesting kind of look into the future of things, because the men who control these people, everyone's plan in this story. Oh, by the way, this is based on a short story, Adjustment Team by Philip K. Dick. What was I saying? it's meant that uh, they control the fates of, or the plans of everyone in the world. At least they try to, and they don't want anyone to deviate from those plans, because then it won't. Then it probably won't work out for them later on in life. And oh, it's a interesting way of looking into the future, because the people that control the people's plans in this movie, it they have this kind of a map of where people would go in a particular plan and how they would get there. That's basically what it is. So this was highly entertaining. Definitely uh, thought provoking, and there's not there's not really much of an action in this, but it's more like a chase movie, because the people in the business hats, right, they go after David anytime he uh, meet, meets up with Elise, and he keeps wanting to be with her. They keep trying to keep them apart, because there's a particular plan for both David and Elise, and it would be detrimental to their plans if David and Elise were to be together. Uh, oh man, Matt Damon and Emily Blunt really did have a fantastic working relationship or chemistry together in this. I really felt like they, in this story, that they really did want to be with each other, and that was so endearing. Because so many movies, when they have couples that try to go, someone or one of a man or a woman tries to go after the other, they, they didn't really have a feeling that they really wanted to be with that person. This, you really felt like these two were really meant to be together. And I'm not going to give away what happens in the end, but you have to see this movie to find out. But really, I love there's this great I don't know, visual effect, or I don't know what you would call it, but they go through doors, and they walk into other areas, other places. That was very, very neat. I really liked that idea. Terrence Stamp also has a very good part in this. And so yeah, it I just so love this. And the story in this, it's kind of interesting because it goes through a period of time. It's not all. It doesn't happen quick. It goes through a period of months, years, and then months. So a few years and then a few months go by. So it's not a rapid pace, and I really like that. It really developed the characters of David and Elise. Really let you know what their motivation is, and what they're really like. Yeah, that time frame of the slow progression really helped the story develop and become even more intriguing. I'm glad it didn't rush along like so many movies that deal with kind of a future in it. They tend to go whiz right past, and you don't get what the story was all about. The story made complete sense at the end, and that's why I appreciated this so much, because the narrative was slow, and it pulls you in, and that's really what made me invested in the characters of David and Elise, and I even got invested in some of the guys there, right here, in the business hats right here. Uh, at a certain point in the story, they really start questioning if what they're doing is right. Uh, and that was so nice. I'm glad they didn't just stick with being what they were out to do at first, and then as the story went on, they started questioning if what they were doing was right. That's what also made me feel even more sympathetic toward these characters here. They were so incredible watching the actors play these parts, because that must have been so incredibly difficult. Because they don't show emotion on their face physically, but they do still emote emotion, and they have to still be kind of stoic and not not really be sympathetic or empathetic toward anyone, and also while trying to keep everything uh, worked out on what the plans are for these two people and anyone else that they have a plan for. That must have been so incredibly difficult for them to get that right in their heads from the script. I'm sure it was written out very well in the script, but they still had to visualize it in their head on what they were meant to do. And I really think they portrayed it and projected that on screen so well that I really felt like they knew what they were doing, but then they were also trying to. Not all of them were wanting to do that work, and so that's what made me that's another reason why I appreciated this so much. I agree with this. A smart and stylish thriller. I'd say it's stylish, but I'd say more smart than anything. And Damon and Blunt have spectacular chemistry. I agree with that too. And entertaining and thought-provoking. I completely agree with that. So I highly recommend this. Like I said, I know there are people don't that don't like this, and I can completely understand, but I was completely drawn into this movie, and I think really this is one of the better one of the best films of this year. In my opinion, I think it is. I think it's one of the best. So, and the hats they wore also served a pretty significant part to the story. I'm not going to say what that is, but that was another very interesting idea. I really liked how that was written into the story. So I think that's all I have to say on the Adjustment Bureau from 2011. So stay cool and roll out to the movies. Bye.